we're right back live in the opulent studios of WLCN, high on the hill at 2250. Our guest this morning, Bill Thomas, a mover and a shaker, among many others up here in Atlanta, and he would be the first to make sure that I made that statement. But some stand out. Bubba's was, well, just for reasons. We've been talking about the Atlanta Public Library, which is a gem up here in a little community of Atlanta, and there's a lot going on up there. They have this big fundraiser going on, and I'd urge everybody to support that. And you don't have to live in Atlanta to do that either, do you, Mr. Thomas?
No, you don't. And the nice thing about it is it's going to be a very enjoyable and fun fundraiser. It's bowling for books, so call the Atlanta Public Library, 648-2112, and register a team of 4. It's a 9-pin bowling tournament on Saturday, February 9th.
999.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, 9. Well, we have another very interesting place on the main drag in Atlanta called the Palms Grill, Palms Cafe, which would be correct, Bill?
The Palms Grill Cafe.
Okay.
You put it all together.
Right,
yeah. Or just, if you're a local, you get to call it the Grill.
The Palms. Yeah.
No, the Grill.
The Grill.
You get to call it the Grill. Yes.
Well,
How did that evolve?
Oh, that was just back in the day when you read the Argus.
That's what
it was referred to as
the Atlanta
the Grill.
Argus. You're too young to remember that. The Atlanta Argus, Mopwaskee Times News.
Yeah, I'm very young.
Well, the Palms Grill is a unique place. It has been restored and to its original beauty of the time, and it was a gem. This goes back to the time when, I guess, Bill, if you wanted to ride a Greyhound bus, you'd come in there and they'd turn the light on or something like that, and the bus would stop there.
Yes. Did you see the pictures? I think we sent some down to the Courier or the Lincoln Daily News, whatever, when the big 1956 scenic cruiser Greyhound bus showed up in town last summer.
A double-decker, so to speak.
I just about had a heart attack. It was a moment. It was a thrill.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Well, you've got
what was thrilling about it, Bill, there are lots of photos of that age and era, and it's fine to look at the photos, but you know what stuck out? We're standing there on the street, and the bus is there. It was the smell.
Yeah.
You were taken back in time because the diesel smell of that bus, it just brought it all together. It was so cool.
Interesting.
It was so
really
cool.
They've did just such a wonderful job of recreating the Palm of its heyday, and served pretty doggone good food there. We won't mention the pies, which get rave notices from all around. I want to go to the guest register.
Sure.
I sat there the other day. I took my little great-granddaughter in there, and she's all in a while, and so I just grabbed it and was leafing through it. I really enjoyed that. The comments from all over the world in your register at the Palms. And their comments were all, and of course, the pie came up often, and I'll just go right ahead. Mr. Thomas is the pie expert there. He tells them how to make them because he has a recipe.
Yes,
and that's one of the reasons that you get such notoriety. But I'm amazed, Bill Thomas, at where the people come from to stop in there.
And if you go next door into the Atlanta Museum, there are 2 or 3 maps up on the wall. One is a big world map, one's a map of North America, and one's a map of Illinois. And we've set it up so that, like many places do, visitors who come can put a little pin on the place where they're from. And, we look at that all the time, and I don't want to sound jaded, but sure, there are going to be a lot of pins in Europe. There are going to be a lot of pins from Canada. You expect people from those places.
Yeah.
The thing that blew my mind, you guys, is the day I walked in there and I saw a pin in Uzbekistan.
Yeah.
Someone from Uzbekistan had been traveling Route 66 and stopped in Atlanta. I thought, we have arrived.
We have arrived.
We have
amazing?
arrived. Yeah.
Which takes me real quickly. There's a thing out on the internet shows this 7-year-old boy in Uzbekistan directing a philharmonic orchestra.
Oh my, I haven't seen that. I'll have to check that out.
You have to look at it. It's fascinating.
Okay.
The music he directs has to do with, what day is today? But anyway, he just does a fascinating job. So you'll have to look that up. But Now, you had somebody from Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan,
and
and
you have a lot of Far Easterners.
Well, yes, a lot from Japan, but I was just going to say, I'm going to predict over the next 5 years, we're going to see more and more pins from mainland China. Because it's becoming a little easier to travel outside of China, and those people have all of a sudden begun to discover Route 66 through television and the internet, and they're fascinated by it. So I really think we're going to see a lot more Chinese, in addition to the...
And you have a lot of bicyclists.
Oh, lots of bicyclists, lots of motorcyclists. Did you hear about the man from France, I think it's been 2 summers ago now, who came through town walking on stilts?
Oh, no.
He did the entire route walking on stilts.
He
Yes.
did Route 66 on stilts?
Yes, he had a backup chaser car and a friend that went along with him, but it was his lifelong dream to come to the U.S., travel Route 66, and it's really kind of a unique cultural situation. The area where he grew up in France, stilts are just the thing. So he grew up. Everybody in his town has stilts. It's a cultural and heritage thing. And that's the way he wanted to do 66, so that's what he did.
That'd be a good place for an orthopedic surgeon. Golly. I can't imagine.
He was a delight. We had him spend the night at our house and went and had breakfast at the grill, and then off he went on his stilts.
Oh, isn't that the berries?
Yeah.
Well, this is a gem for the community, the entire community. And currently now, Bill, what we're trying to do is expand change the ownership in order to expand the hours and be more available. Is that the essence of the problem?
Yes. Actually, it's change, open up the lease to a new manager. The public library in town actually owns the building where the grill and the museum are housed.
Oh.
And the current operators have had the lease for 4 years now, done a very good job. But there's always room for improvement. So the library board decided, it's running, the cafe is running on a rather limited time schedule. It's closed on Mondays. Its hours of operation are only 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Let's open up the lease, see if anybody else is interested in expanding the operation and maybe more fully leveraging the potential of the place. So that's what we're going for.
Yeah. Well, we hope that's a success. You can find somebody out there that will give you the hours that you folks would like to have it open, particularly perhaps evening hours for a late afternoon snack or early supper or something.
Right. I think we could add another venue to the county's already large number of places that you can go out on a Friday or Saturday night to and really enjoy yourself.
Yes.
Let's see why we can't make that work in Atlanta.
What are the museum hours, since it's the next door neighbor to the
It's next door neighbor. It's open primarily during the tourist season, so it'll open probably April 1st and then continue through the end of October. And again, because of volunteers in Atlanta, we're actually able to keep it open during the day from like 9 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon, 6 days a week. So it runs a pretty good schedule.
That is great.
Yes.
You have so many volunteers. I think of a mutual friend of ours who's a flower bud.
Yes.
Yes.
There are lots of flower buds, and they're great.
Yeah, and they take care of the planters that are downtown and see to it that the flowers are deadheaded and that the flowers are watered. And last summer, for instance, it was full-time
Oh my
work for
gosh,
them.
they had a challenge last summer, and as a business owner, I really appreciate it. I got these 2 gorgeous planters out in front of our office, and all we have to do is look at them and admire them. The flower buds take care of them.
Yeah. And,
So it's a great deal.
and they bring their watering cans, and they keep very busy.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
They do. They're a very good addition to the town.
Bill, your business, your own business, kind of takes Atlanta worldwide, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. We do business all over the world, and then all over the country, and
that
our
right
employees are scattered all over. So, but it allows myself and my wife to live here where we want to be. So.
There's an increasing amount of that living where you want to be with conference calls and internets and computers and cell phones, and really to go to the office is becoming something that not everyone has to do.
It's almost anachronistic anymore.
Really?
Because you can work wherever you have your computer or your laptop or now your iPad.
Yeah.
Yes.
Back to books a minute, if I can, because
Yes.
I had an amazing experience in early December that just showed me how different our little world here in Logan County and Atlanta is from maybe the greater world. I had to go out and facilitate a meeting out in Washington, D.C. And I went out there for a couple of days. I'm on my way back home. I'm sitting in Reagan Airport, and I have a library book from the Atlanta Public Library that I've taken along with me, History of the Downfall of the Soviet Union. And I'm just sitting there having a bagel and coffee, minding my business, and there's a woman sitting next to me, and she keeps looking over. And I mean, she keeps looking over. Finally, she stands up.
I bet you thought she was sweet on you.
No, that wasn't what I was thinking. That wasn't what I was thinking.
Oh, okay.
But she stands up and she turns and looks at me and she goes, "Is that a library book?" And I said, "Yes." And she goes, "How quaint."
Oh, how quaint. Oh, my God.
Because
Quaint.
I think
Think
I
of that.
was, now that I think back on it, everybody else had
Their pads.
their pads or their
How
laptops
quaint
or
for you to
whatever.
have
And she
a
goes,
physical book in
"How
your lap."
quaint."
But you know, that
That's an amazing
quaintness
story.
is interesting because I have lots of friends who have their pads. you know.
Yes.
But they kind of like to get a library book just to feel the page when they
Of
turn
course.
it, because they were big library people, and now they can't turn a page. They just run their finger across it, and they feel that it's lost something. They like to be quaint.
Right, and the batteries in my library books are always charged.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, I never have to worry
If you
about
forget your charger, you're okay.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Speaking of that, does the go back to the library? Let's cross the street back.
Okay,
Back to the library
okay.
again. Are you the Atlanta Library into the electronic age, as talking books and so forth? Do you have a few of those?
Yes,
on your-
audio books,
Uh-huh.
and then e-readers. That's the big new thing in town. And I know you'd have to go to the Atlanta Public Library website. We have a couple of workshops coming up even for folks in town on using e-readers and e-books to help them. Because I know lots of folks have questions about, well, how do you do that actually?
Yeah.
So we're trying to help them in that
Well,
fashion.
what if a person wanted to come to that, but they lived in Lincoln?
Oh, anybody can come to the library's programs. Sure. It doesn't matter if you're in Lincoln or Pulaski or wherever.
You don't check driver's licenses?
They wouldn't be able to, I don't know if they'd be able to check out a book or not,
Yeah.
but in terms of learning how an e-reader, it's just a public service, so sure, we
That
would
is-
welcome anybody.
See?
You know, that's been a
Magnanimous.
double-edged sword, the advance of e-books and so forth. Back to the years, I would always make a pilgrimage to Crocs and Brentano's, which was the bookstore in Chicago at that
Oh, yes.
time.
I knew it well,
would
yep.
Never go to Chicago without come home with 3 or 4 books. And I got to know Carl Croc, and it was kind of an interesting little interchange there. But now, you see, and now I've got to do something with all these books. Unfortunately, my family, they're not going to want those.
Yeah, I have a house full of them too, Bill.
And I, you know, and I still like to read books.
Mm-hmm.
I like to put it in my lap, like how quaint.
I like to walk past the room where all of them are, the
Yeah.
rooms where all of them, and just look at them even. Yeah.
But you know, not only books that the 4 of us, excuse me, Jim,
Yeah, listen, he's an
would
intellectual.
enjoy. Yeah, I know it. God love him. But, you know, Gene Gossett,
Yes.
is a friend of Bill's and mine, is sight impaired. She has macular degeneration. And she uses the books on tape all the time that are available at the Lincoln Library. They're available at the
Right.
Atlanta Library. And people think about using them like maybe in their car.
I was just going to say, that's how I've used them
Yeah,
before.
a
It's
lot
just
of-
if I have to
and
drive a
that's-
distance.
That's a great
Yeah.
thing. But think about Jean, who can't use a book. Think how important that service is to her.
Right.
That's just invaluable.
I might say, parenthetically, that the Illinois group for sight impaired, they do a whale of a job for those folks in that category. For instance, Jean has one of those huge readers on our kitchen table.
Oh,
that
yes.
magnifies everything. And it's a godsend to her, because she can read the morning paper or a magazine
Right.
or something. She won't sit there and read a magazine because that's too not comfortable all that long. But taking care of the the periodicals and so forth, that daily papers, that's a real advantage to these folks. So thanks to the folks Illinois for making that available. Now, with reference to the Palms, you're going to continue the operation there as we are, but the idea, the modus operandi will be to try to find somebody who would like to expand the hours.
Yes. I want to make it very clear because I have had people ask us on Facebook, and I've gotten phone calls and emails. Oh my goodness, is it closed?
Yes.
No, not at all, and we don't anticipate it closing. I mean,
Right.
there may be a few days in between the switch from one leaseholder
Well,
to another
that's
holder.
true.
That's
Yeah.
understandable, but no, it is not going to close. For heaven's sake, we already have 12 bus tours scheduled
Have you?
for the tourist season. Yes, and it's only January, so I know there'll be more coming in.
And you have that nice big meeting room in the back for tours, tour groups can go back there, and they could even have seminars and so forth back there in the back.
Oh, we've had everything from wedding showers to funeral dinners to the dinner program series that the museum puts on, in addition to bus tours and car groups and motorcycle groups. All manner of groups have met back there in the back room. Now, nobody has danced or played bingo like they used to in the 1930s. That hasn't
did they
happened
have
yet.
bingo there?
Oh, yes, that's what was advertised in the Argus.
Is
Back room, Palms Grill, dancing nightly, bingo weekly.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, do you think you'll ever have a bingo game in the back room again?
If you want to come up, Jane or Judy, yeah, let's go play bingo in the back room.
Okay.
Sure.
They could have backgammon contests or something like back.
Oh, I'd have to be taught how. I don't know backgammon. Do you know backgammon?
No. I've
Oh,
never-
okay. Well, then I'll play against you. Sure, if you don't know it, I'll
My
play.
daughter will teach you.
Okay.
You can make up the rules yourself as you go. But I've seen, I've seen people do that, and it looks like a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
Maybe when I get old.
Okay.
I don't
All right.
have
We'll
anything
wait.
else to do. Maybe
We've got
I'll
a long
take that
time
up. If I
then.
ever get old, I'm going to take that up. Yeah.
It's a long time to wait.
Have you?
Whatever possessed you to decide to rejuvenate the Palms Grill? Where did
I
that
have been
idea
a
come from?
frustrated cafe owner since I was in junior high. I grew up in Cuba, Illinois, little town the same size
Yeah.
as Atlanta, and there was a wonderful cafe that we would go to downtown on the square, Art and Mary's Cafe, and I just so thoroughly loved that experience, and I love to cook. So I've always wanted, and I love history. So all of a sudden it just became a perfect storm when the opportunity here in town arose, Judy. And okay, I can bring in my love of history, my love of cooking, this silly fascination with running a cafe. And I mean, I don't actually run it, but I get to play with it. I get to play with the whole idea, and it's just a delight.
Bigger the boys, bigger the toys.
Yeah,
right?
isn't that awful? Isn't that awful? But it's the truth.
Well, that's a pretty productive toy, I can tell you
Yeah.
that. Is there any, before we close, is there any one particular incident might pop into your mind that visitors that have just dropped in there?
Oh, goodness. That
You
have,
had
the
so many
visitors have
already.
been so varied. The most recent, I walked in and they're sitting at the counter having a piece of pie, is one of the editors from Midwest Living magazine.
Really?
Yes. And I thought, oh, okay, this is interesting. And he was just very nonchalant about his position. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, is the pie good? Is the place clean? Is the coffee fresh?
Yeah.
All those things.
Yeah.
And he seemed to be delighted. He said, oh, I'll come back. I'm going to come back in the summer. So we'll see what comes of that.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope that the day that he comes happens to be a day that interesting people from Uzbekistan are here.
That would be nice. That
Isn't
would be
it?
nice.
Bill and I, one of the times we were there, we ran into a carload of Norwegians.
Oh, yes.
Didn't we, Bill?
What suited you?
Were any of them hurt or?
Well, Bill just bumped their bumpers. so
Okay, all right, good.
It wasn't really bad. We didn't even have to call the insurance company.
Well, Ufta's in her background. So. All right, the guest this morning has been Bill Thomas, a viable part of the Atlanta community, very, very vitally interested in the library and Palmer's Grill, both of which we want to see continue for a long, long time. It's the neat part of the small community to have such good gems as their library and their Palmer's Grill up here
museum.
in the museum and the museum factor. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. We always try to have to close somehow with some quote or anything, Bill, about restaurants or brain surgery or whatever the topic of the day is. This one I found said, every wife ought to know her husband's favorite dish and which restaurant serves it. Bill Thomas, thank you for being with us this morning.
It's
Thank
been
you
my
for
pleasure.
Viewpoint.
It's always nice to talk with you, too. And
Thank you.
Jim.
Yeah, don't forget Jim. Thank you.